When I was 7 years old, I watched Dumb and Dumber for the first time, and it absolutely floored me. To this day, over 10 years later, it's still on my Letterboxd top 4. I've seen this movie at least 10 times by now, and what impresses me every time is how consistently stupid it is. The two main characters, Lloyd Christmas and Harry Dunn, both get into and out of trouble because they're so stupid that no one else around them would ever expect a human being to act like they do. They absolutely embody chaotic neutrality because at the end of the day, even though they've caused a trail of destruction, the status quo for them and for the other named characters doesn't change. Although for some people, it definitely does. The movie is literally called Dumb and Dumber, so if you come in to watch it and expect anything intelligent, you would be surprised actually. There is a genius when it comes to being so perfectly stupid that you're not quite annoying, but also you're staying in the realm of entertainment. I'm a pretty big fan of sketch comedy also, so I watch a lot of SNL, Almost Friday TV, I Think You Should Leave, the old Studio C of course, but people in the comment sections always will mention, wow, this sketch is funnier than anything that Hollywood has put out in the past 10 years. And sure, I guess, but that's because we're watching like a 5-minute sketch and not a 90-minute movie, you know? Maintaining comedic momentum for 90 minutes is no easy task, and adding like a whole plot that wraps up nicely at the end also is really difficult. If you notice a lot of sketches, they don't end well. In response to his appearance on Actors on Actors, Ryan Reynolds said, "Dramatic work is difficult, and we're also meant to see it's difficult, which is one of the reasons it feels visceral and effective. Comedy is also very difficult, but it has an added dimension in that it's meant to look and feel effortless." I think that really succinctly explains how I've kind of subconsciously felt about comedy. You need to have a sort of veneer when it comes to being goofy and silly that is also well-intentioned and planned out, and that's difficult to accomplish. It's not new that dramatic actors are also really good at comedy. Taking a look at Bryan Cranston, who's now known for Breaking Bad, but before then he was known for a family sitcom. Adam Sandler absolutely crushed Uncut Gems, despite having a huge comedy career that was kind of viewed as lowbrow in the 90s and 2000s. Even the co-star of Dumb and Dumber, Jeff Daniels, he was primarily known for dramatic work before this, and also after this. This movie is an exception in his career, not the rule. But of course, this movie would not be where it is if it didn't have Jim Carrey as the lead actor. This came out in 1994, which is his breakout year, where he starred in this movie, Ace Ventura, and of course, The Mask. Dumb and Dumber absolutely embraces his silly expressions and sounds and noises, and it is even more in character than I would argue Ace Ventura is. There are two things that I think elevate this film as a comedy. The first one is static character development, and the second one are the active protagonists. We usually expect the characters to be in different places mentally by the end of the film, but Dumb and Dumber is an exception to that one. And if there isn't any meaningful character development, then why, as viewers, should we care about this film and these characters? It's because the focus of the film isn't the plot, but the jokes and the humor. Looking at it from this perspective, we can see that character development isn't necessary for the film to be enjoyable. And while the humor does mostly come from how these characters interact with the world around them, the significant part of this is that they are active in their participation. Things don't exactly just happen to them, but they go out of their way to create circumstances unintentionally that create these jokes. For example, in the diner scene, Harry spills his salt and Lloyd tells him he needs to throw some salt over his shoulder to get rid of bad luck.
You spilled the salt. That's what's the matter. Spilling the salt is very bad luck. We're driving across the country. The last thing we need is bad luck. Quick, toss some salt over your right shoulder.
The salt shaker hits Seabass, who is a big trucker with an attitude problem, who promptly spits at Harry's burger. However, Lloyd and Harry mess with him even further by forcing him to pay for their food unintentionally. This joke ultimately pays off when they happen to be in the same truck stop Seabass appears in later for a chance homosexual encounter. All this goes to show is that the situations these characters find themselves in are the consequences of their own actions. It would be easier to have these situations simply happen to the characters, but it's a sign of better writing that these characters are instead more heavily involved and have stakes in what happens. And because of this, it walks a line between pity and satisfaction, because these characters got themselves into their own mess, and now they kind of have to deal with it. Another thing I find fascinating about Harry and Lloyd is that they aren't inherently bad or good. Given the opportunity, they do show kindness, but they also show selfishness and cowardice. In the diner scene, Lloyd immediately gives up Harry when he's being confronted by Seabass. But when they have enough money, Lloyd also tips the hotel staff generously. At heart, they both want to be important to people, even if they don't want to put in the effort to get there. When given the choice between doing what's right and doing what's easy, they always pick doing what's easy. And this decision-making process for them is what allows them to enter such convoluted and insane situations that would never happen to any rational thinking person. Like, sure, let's ride a tiny motorcycle through the Rocky Mountains. I'm gonna sell a dead bird to a blind kid.
Lloyd, what do you... Petey didn't even have a head. Harry, I took care of it.
I have 2 pairs of mittens, my friend has no mittens, so I think I'll wear both pairs because it's that cold, and it's his problem he forgot to buy any.
I'm gonna kill you!
All these decisions are catastrophically dumb, but they're so funny and it works so well. I love this movie so much, and I didn't even talk about Harry's stupid hair, mop hair, Lloyd's stupid chipped tooth. Like, these designs just pull together so well, and it's just peak. I can't. Things that are intentionally and well written to be stupid are so fun. That's why this movie has been one of my favorites for the past however many years it's been. While Harry and Lloyd are basically single-celled organisms, the creativity and effort that went into this movie clearly evidences higher thought. If this kind of thing were easy to write, then we'd see more good movies like Dumb and Dumber. There's a reason this film has endured for 30 years, and damn if it doesn't prove you gotta be smart to be dumb.
Okay. Just let it out. Have a good cry. Come on. Okay, that's enough.